It's no secret that I'm a huge racing game nut and Sonic fan, so it's safe to say that Sonic Racing CrossWorlds was always going to demand my attention for at least a few hours. What I wasn't expecting, however, was just how hard it has been to put the game down. See, I've really never been into kart racers as a genre, especially when it comes to Sonic, so when one steals as much time from me as CrossWorlds does, that probably means it's nothing short of fantastic. 2019's Team Sonic Racing was largely considered to be an underwhelming entry in the Sonic Racing series when compared to the much beloved Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. Even though it wasn't a bad game by any means, there was understandably some skepticism leading up to the release of CrossWorlds. Making matters more uncertain, it became known that developer Sumo Digital would be absent this time, with development being handled internally at SEGA. Fortunately, those worries can be put to rest, as CrossWorlds retains much of what made Transformed so appealing despite some significant differences. Even without all of the upcoming content, the game features a large roster of characters in a huge variety of locations. Out of every Sonic racing game, CrossWorlds plays the most similarly to Mario Kart. The vehicles in the Sumo Digital games were larger and felt heavier as a result, while the cars here are a closer approximation to go-karts. As such, the tracks appear to be smaller but are packed with loving detail. Especially when playing against skilled players or on higher difficulties, races can become quite tense and chaotic. You likely won't be able to maintain first place throughout an entire race, but victory never seems out of reach either. Like any kart racer, there is an element of luck involved regarding items, but playing well will consistently reward with a decent placing. CrossWorlds is refreshingly straightforward in the delivery of its content. Besides an optional tutorial, you can hop into a Grand Prix right away and just start playing. Although if you're like me, you may want to turn off auto steering and reconfigure the controls first, but that's easy enough to do. Admittedly, progression is relatively simple, but there is a surprising amount of unlockable content to work toward. Alternative skins, music, and more are offered as rewards for completing the game's various challenges. Additionally, Supersonic Speed, the game's equivalent to a 200cc mode, can be acquired for some truly thrilling racing. On the multiplayer side of things, players can work their way up a ranking system by placing well in online matches. It's nothing new, but it's hassle-free and works without issue most of the time. I often found myself playing round after round online because I was simply able to enjoy the game without any nonsense. On top of all that, Time Trial Mode offers a compelling challenge for players who wish to prove that they have mastered CrossWorld's various tracks. Somewhat like Unleashed, this is a Sonic game where obtaining S ranks is a true achievement reserved only for the best of the best. To get to the top of the leaderboards, taking the best racing lines with precision is a must. Races in CrossWorlds largely take place in easily recognizable locations from previous Sonic games or in original spots that take vague inspiration from various Sonic levels. Intriguingly, Sonic Unleashed and Adventure 2 likely have the most obvious representation. Courses such as Market Street, Metal Harbor, and Radical Highway should instantly be identifiable for most fans of the series. However, some of the original tracks are among my favorites as well. E-Stadium is a solid introductory track that's good for building fundamental skills. Chow Park is a breathtakingly gorgeous track that took me by surprise when I first saw it, and it's just a delight to drive on. Additionally, Aqua Forest may be the best track in the game with its branching paths and wonderful atmosphere. But what about the travel ring gimmick? The second lap of every race will take the player to many locations that do not necessarily form traditional circuits, such as cyberspace from Sonic Frontiers. The somewhat unpredictable nature of this mechanic helps keep races feeling fresh. It's almost a shame that some of the CrossWorlds aren't available as normal tracks, because there are some very neat inclusions here. You will often hear remixes of various Sonic music accompany many of these tracks. Some may find this choice to be underwhelming, but like most Sonic music, it sounds great. If you do have a problem with it, however, the game provides the option to create a custom playlist of songs and to listen to them during races. Yes, you can listen to Hatsune Miku and Creepy Nuts while drifting around corners, and it is amazing. Customization is almost always welcome in any racing game, and CrossWorlds has quite a bit to offer. It isn't quite comparable to the flexibility of the old Need for Speed or Midnight Club titles, but the options are impressive still for a kart racer. Extreme gears are my machine of choice, but it's tempting to customize every vehicle type. CrossWorlds also allows the creation of builds using gadgets. These are vital to consider when competing in races or even time trials. For example, one may prioritize drifting by selecting gadgets that increase boost charging speeds. This leads to a race strategy that may emphasize fast recovery and bigger drift boosts. As you might imagine, this adds a layer of depth and strategy that is often absent in other kart racers. While powerful items can definitely help provide a win, a solid gadget loadout will go a long way in securing victories. With the customization and the gadget system, preparing for a race in CrossWorlds is almost as fun as participating in one. I have become increasingly wary of games utilizing Unreal Engine 5. It's frighteningly common for these games to launch with severe technical issues, which can make a full-price release difficult to justify, no matter how good the experience otherwise might be. This is especially true for PC. Thankfully, Sonic Racing CrossWorlds is possibly one of the most well-optimized Unreal Engine 5 games I have ever played. With a file size just under 16 GB, the game is easy to install on most storage devices. Graphically, it's not going to compete against the best-looking games of the decade, but it doesn't need to. It's a game that runs beautifully on most hardware, including the Steam Deck. I can't recall experiencing any performance issues during my time with the game. The worst I've encountered with my time are some connectivity issues while playing online, but these are a minor annoyance rather than a constant frustration. I can confidently say that CrossWorlds joins Sonic X Shadow Generations in being among the most polished Sonic games of all time. Hopefully, this is a trend that will continue for the foreseeable future. Sonic's leading racing offering provides a colorful, exciting, and polished experience that's sure to delight players of all ages. What it lacks in innovation, it makes up for with polish and pure joy. There is no bloat and no meaningless gimmicks here, just a great game that prioritizes fun above all else. Sonic Racing CrossWorlds is one of the best kart racers on the market, and I'm sure I'll be coming back to it often. It may not be a new Sonic Riders sequel, but it's the next best thing. For those who are looking for a quality game to share with friends and family, I can't recommend CrossWorlds enough. Final Weapon is giving Sonic Racing CrossWorlds a 4.5 out of 5. SEGA provided a PC copy of Sonic Racing CrossWorlds for review purposes.